Hey guys, what's up? GreenMachineSam back with another video, and of course we have another 2K23 roster update. I figure with the NBA Finals just right around the corner, and depending on how fast the NBA Finals will end, of course, I don't hope for a quick Finals, but it very much could happen. Could be, a 5-1 or a 6-2 or a 4-2 even. Hopefully it does go 7 games. It seems very interesting between the Celtics and the Mavs. A lot of storylines going into it. But I have updated the roster completely now, so you guys will be able to have that. And I'll go over a lot of it once we get into the roster. Now, of course, this is a PS5 exclusive roster. Sorry to anybody that is on Xbox or older generations or PC. I am on PS5. That's just my console of choice based off of other varying factors. And then those are that's the platform that I choose to do the roster updates on, right? I don't have an Xbox. I have a PC. But I would assume the modding community probably does a pretty good job, and I've heard some pretty decent things about the modding tool on the PC side and stuff like that. But let's get into things and get things underway. First and foremost, you guys will need to hop into the features tab over here. So you will have to go over here. Of course, you do have to have an internet connection. Some people have asked me, is there a way to get an offline roster? I'm like, you can play with this offline. You just have to be online to download it. So first and foremost, you will want to head over to the Create Roster section, NBA Modern Current, of course. Go to User Created, and then you guys will want to look up my username ID. It is just easier this way instead of trying to search up one of the files themselves. It just makes more sense to load up my name. Now, of course, one thing I do want to say is none of the rosters are particularly different as of right now. I do plan on doing a couple different things with a couple different of the rosters once the finals are over. But as of right now, all of the top 6 rosters are all the same, so go ahead and pick whichever one you want to. It does not matter. Whichever name you want to above the 0000 roster right here, these are all the same roster, okay? These are all the same. None of them will change until the playoffs are officially done, technically the finals. Whenever the finals are done, that's when I will update a couple of them, and we'll have a couple things else to go over. But go ahead and choose whichever roster you want to, of course. Now, you will need to save it, and to save the roster, all you do is push circle on your controller, and it should bring up Save and Share Roster, or Save Roster. If you're just going to play with it, you just can push Save Roster. If you're going to put it back out there for some reason, for one of your friends to download it for whatever reason, just push Save and Share Roster. I would appreciate if you don't try to take credit for something that I've done. I don't particularly like that, but things to go over. Now, of course, not a whole ton has happened with the roster because there's not a ton of player movement after the playoff. You have to add certain players to your roster by a certain time if they're going to be playoff eligible. So a lot of things like that hasn't happened. Not a ton of player movement, if any at all, if I remember correctly. But what I have went ahead and done is go ahead and get everybody moved on to the next stage. So everybody's age has been updated, of course, as well as years of experience, and of course their contracts have been moved to the next season. So anybody with a 1-year, $1.02 million contract, those are projected free agents. Those are guys that will not have a contract with that current team unless they extend them right now. Now, of course, there are people that do have, of course, player options and team options and stuff like that. So those guys will still have the money that they will be owed if the option is picked up or if they choose to pick up their own option. But anybody that does not have a contract as of next year will have the 1-year, $1.02 million, and that is just how I'm doing things. Now, of course, like I said, once the finals are done, I'll have 2 separate rosters. It'll be 3 and 3 apiece. The reason why I upload so many is just so that you guys have a lot of varying options. I know there's a ton of issues when you're trying to download rosters or even upload rosters of them just not going up correctly on 2K's end. I don't know what's wrong with that. It's always been an issue, especially since about 2K20, I feel like. But, so, there will be 3 rosters. 3 of them will be, I'm going to release everybody that does not have a contract year left. That will be coming off of contracts. Now, player options, team options will stay on the teams until the option is decided upon. But other than that, So like a guy like Buddy Hield will get released, but then there will be a guy, I don't think the Sixers have any of them, but there'll be other guys that do have player options and team options to go ahead and choose of whether or not they want to stay on a team. I know a guy like D'Angelo Russell on the LA Lakers. I know there's been reports that he's probably going to deny his player option, but So a guy like him, until he actually declines it and heads into free agency, he'll stay on the Lakers, whereas a guy like, let's say, Taurean Prince, we'll release him right away once the finals is done. Now, you may ask why I don't do it right now. I'm just keeping them on the teams for sakes of everything else, because remember, that roster will be kind of difficult. You won't be able to load it right into a my NBA, because it will force sign a bunch of players to different teams, of course, because a lot of these teams will be under the 14-man options and stuff like that, especially a team like I just showed with the Philadelphia 76ers. Most of their players are coming off contract. They don't have a ton of players under contract. They only have, it seems like, about 3 guys going into contract. So there is that. Like I said, I have updated ages, so ages should all be correct. Years of experience should all be correct as well. Overalls are the 2K24 overalls and all that fun stuff. Now, of course, there's some stuff I can't fix. I can't fix hair and some accessories and stuff like that. And, of course, I will be adding the rookies once the draft does come along as well, so anybody wondering about that, the rookies will be added once the draft is done. I can guarantee at least the first round, and I will, of course, be updating throughout free agency as well. Like I said, I can guarantee the first round. It's just because of some of the limitations that 2K does put on the roster sizes. It will determine whether or not I do rookies on the second round. It'll be more if the team needs a 15th through 17th player will be the major options there. Because the most amount of players I can really add to a team without it getting fucked up and just somebody getting auto-released as soon as you start your My Eras is 17 players. I can have 15 guys on regular contracts and 2 two-way players, and then you will be able to load into your, My Era, and it should work just fine, and it'll be able to keep all your players, of course. Like I said, I can't update portraits. I can't update, certain accessories or hairstyles, stuff like that on players that I have not created, right? So that is the major thing, of course, is that some of these guys will have to look the same. With only 6-ish months left of the year, because of course the 2K servers go down after 2.5 years basically online. So this one will be going off shortly. So, well, not shortly, but in 6 months. So if you want this roster, if you're seeing this after, of course, December 2024, you can no longer get this roster. I think it's a really good roster. I'm still playing 2K23 just personally. I just think I like 2K23 more than 2K24. Granted, I don't think I put a whole ton of time into 2K24 to really determine whether or not it is a better game. But I think it's really good. You're going to be able to play the My Eras and stuff like that. Now, of course, it's going to be a little bit buggy right now if you go in and start a My Eras right now. Because, a lot of guys are going to be on very cheap contracts and stuff like that. But once free agency does start, and of course once the draft is over, I should have a good chunk, if not all the rosters updated and all that fun stuff. I am cleaning up some things still in the rosters, height, weight, stuff like that. I'm going to try to get some badges done as well. Just get some guys that are playing good and have developed over the last couple of years that didn't have the highest badge counts. I'm trying to get those guys fixed and everything like that so that they play a little bit better. Of course, like I said, there'll be 2 different rosters. This roster is just going to stay the same for the most part. And then, of course, 3 of the other rosters, once the finals are over, will have the released players into the free agency pool. So you will come over here. And you'll be able to see them over here with John Wall and company. I did go ahead and get everybody here experience moved up as well, of course. So there's a couple of different things. Like I said, I think it's a good roster. I'm going to continue to play 2K23. I might move over to 2K24 as well. I do have a roster hopefully coming for 2K24. Now, of course, this takes a little bit of time because I do have to manually go in and basically move everybody's contracts up. Because remember, I have to go be like, okay, his second year is 33.2. Okay, so move 33.2 up to the first year and stuff like that. And of course, players signing very big contracts young in their career kind of does mess with the system, because in 2K, years of experience plays into how much money you can actually make and stuff. So some guys I do have to move up in age and move their experience up so that I can change their money correctly and get it as close as possible. Now, of course, one thing I do want to say is for their contracts for some people, I can't get the exact number, right? If somebody's making $34.243 million, I can get it close, right? I can get it to like 34.25, right? I can get it somewhere in that neighborhood, or 34.5. You know, I can get it in those neighborhoods. I can do some stuff to work around it and get it a little bit closer as well. But there's not like a whole ton. I can't get the exact number, of course, so that will kind of be buggy. As well as when you put a 2-year team option on somebody, it sometimes does fuck with the contract in a way, where it for some reason just gives them either an extra 2 years or it gives them an extra year even. So then that last year they're making $0, but they still have a team option. So if anything like that shows up, or just anything in general that you guys see, you know, whether it's an age being incorrect, you know, just something of that nature, something major that will definitely change your My Eras, go ahead and let me know down below, and I'll be happy to fix it. But like I said, this is probably one of the best rosters out there. I don't think there's a whole ton of people that do update 2Ks after they're a year old and after that first free agency. I'm going to continue to do that, but hopefully you guys do enjoy the roster. Hopefully you guys have some fun times playing My Eras, or even Play Now, or anything like that. I do have a relatively older video on the channel discussing how to get into the My Eras. Last I've known, you can't get a custom roster into the 2K My Career. I could be wrong. If somebody does know, I will be happy to pin your comment if you know a workaround to get into a new My Career with a custom roster. So go ahead and leave that down below if you know a way around that. But like I said, I do have an older roster discussing how to go play, and of course My Eras and Play Now with a new custom roster. Hopefully that'll be, you know, one of the pinned comments, well, one of the cards or whatever that pops up around this time. But like I said, if you guys do enjoy this content or the content here on my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys do stick around and subscribe. I'll be back with more videos like this, especially with, you know, the finals. Because with NBA, it's like finals, free agency, draft, all that fun stuff right away, and then it's the dead season. So we'll have a ton to go over once the free agency and draft period does start and all that fun stuff. But like I said, if you guys do enjoy this content, please stick around and subscribe. I have Madden roster updates and I have Madden content all over the channel as well. I have some videos that I am working on that I do hope to get out within the next couple weeks. And then hopefully, who knows, I might be even doing NCAA content later down the line. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace.